Hey, what's up guys? So I'm Jack, Sioux Falls Dent Repair, coming at you live today here with a video specifically tailored to hail damage repair tools that we specifically use. So today I'm going to be talking about hail rods, so actual pushing tools that we use that are, definitely can be used for all sorts of different things. I've actually used one of these rods when fixing a toolbox. I know, right? A toolbox, like a Matco toolbox that had a dent in it. Anyways, not to say that they're only for hail, but they can be used on multiple other things. So kind of some of the first kind of general, kind of real basic ones. So the one thing that really sets a hail tool apart is going to be a twin tip design. So it's actually going to be able to hold two different style of tips at the same time. So this one here, we've talked about, interchangeable tip rods and stuff like that before, but this one actually has a spot to put two different style tips on it. So you can actually screw in a insert and put a extension with a tip on it, or vice versa. Hey, what's up, Tim? And so that's kind of one thing that sets kind of the hail specific tools apart from just your standard interchangeable, where you've got one tip only on it, and when you want to switch tips, you got to physically change the tip out or change the tool completely. Whereas this one, you could be just hypothetically think that there's a tool tip on here. You could be pushing the dent with a big fat tip on there, and then flip it around and do a softer tip. So to actually show you an example of that. So these are two of the tips that I like to use. This is kind of my go-to setup for doing hail damage repair. And obviously the type of hail, the severity of it, deep, how big a damage it is, all that stuff is going to depend and change these potentially. But this is kind of the go-to setup as far as that I like to use. So like I said, twin tipped rod. So I'm actually able to, this is the R4 style with a cherry cap. So this is an R4 style tip from Dead On Dent Tools. This is Woody's company, and then it's got a red cherry cap on it available from Dent Craft. So what this actually looks like, if I can get it off there, it's actually a nice rounded kind of BB tip on there is what it is, and then we actually put this cherry cap on there to make it a nice big fat push, so it's actually not pushing up any type of sharpness or anything like that. So that's kind of how we would typically start the dent. It would be something with that or something like that. And then when we get into the fine tuning, we're flipping it around, coming at it with a real sharp tip. This is one available from Edgy Tools. This is definitely one of the sharper tips. I don't think it's the sharpest one on the market, which is okay, because I don't need to have, I've got a sharper tip that I do use at sometimes, but this seems to be a pretty good balance between being very sharp, but not almost a little overly sharp, if you will. And nothing wrong with anything that's sharper. It's just my personal preference. So, don't take anything I'm saying for sure, but just use it as kind of a recommendation. So what we're doing when we're fixing hail damage is, let's say we're working a dent out, and I'm not going to get into leverage or anything like that, but just to give you kind of a general idea. Hey, what's up, Ryan? Can't wait for the live show here tonight. So what we do is we'd work out the dent, and we'd be physically pushing on the dent, working the dent out and stuff like that. And then when we get to the kind of the end point where we're kind of fine tuning it and kind of dialing it in, flip the tool around, get those pinpoint little micro lows, or work a little bit of the orange peel out and whatnot, and you're done. So instead of having to push the dent out with the tool, take the tool out, get the tool off, you get another tool off your car, blah, blah, blah. Very, very slow. It would absolutely kill your productivity. Whereas this tool, I could just boom, 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 shoot, flip it around, boom, 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 done. So they actually make hail rods actually that have 4 tips, so it's actually not just a T or a straight across here. They actually make ones that come off this way as well. I've seen them. I've never actually used one. It's an interesting concept. I don't know as far as how much, I don't know. I think it all has its point. I'm just a little more favored at, because this is what I'm used to. But kind of going back on the hail rod. So this one here is available from Dent Craft PDR Tools. This is a 4 foot rod here, and this is all metal. It's definitely a lot on the, a little on the heavy side. It will have a tiny bit of flex to it, but it's a really good kind of, this is one of my first hail rods. So it's good for cars, if you're working on, regular cab pickups and stuff like that. Works really, really well. I think they're about $160, something like that, I think is what this one costs, which is very reasonable. And then kind of going up another point here, so just to give you kind of a reference here, I'm about what, 5 foot, I don't know, something, 5'7", something like that. This is about, I don't know, 5 foot-ish or so. This is definitely quite a bit longer. Same general design though. It is the exact same tool, just longer. Again, you know, it's got the provisions for dual threaded spots on it, so you can work, you know, do the same thing. I just don't have tips on these because I honestly haven't used that 4-foot version. I've used recently to do like a bedside or something like that. But this is where I'm going to get into kind of the Mac Daddy. This is kind of the trend, the rod that really paved the way. So I started out with those 2 rods that I just showed you, the 2 ones from Deckcraft. Great price, great bang for buck, very hard to beat. But this one here is actually made from Carbon Tech PDR tools. And this one is actually, if you can see all this, it's actually made of carbon fiber. So the entire rod, so this is a 4-foot section of it that I've got here. This is a 4-foot section. This end here is actually machined out of aluminum. So it actually detaches. And it's got just a quick little button I push to kind of lock it in. So it actually, let's see if I can get that on there. So as you can see, there's a hole there. Take this, push, this is hard to do. And then just basically just locks in and it's good to go. So it's not gonna twist or anything like that. It's locked in place. The system here that Todd with Carbon Tech has really come up with, this is just an ingenious setup. So the one thing that's nice about this rod is you're not stuck with just one size. You can add extensions onto it. So it comes, I believe off the top of my head, I think it's a 9-foot, it's either 7 or 9 foot. But you can buy extra extensions. So this is actually one of the extra extensions I bought with it. I believe this is the 3-foot extension. So this will actually turn this into a, let me think here, 4, 3, 7, 10, so a 10-foot rod. So I can actually combine all of these. I actually should put all this together just to show you in the shop, but you get the idea. So you've got all these different combinations of lengths that I can make this. So if I want it 4 foot, I got the standard rod. If I want it 5 foot, I got a 1-inch extension. So again, this is gonna get kind of hard to get on camera. And so on and so forth. And then I've got a 2-foot extension and a 3-foot extension. So obviously, as you imagine, this is gonna get a whole lot of leverage. You know, and some people are going, 10-foot tool, what do you need that for? Well, you'd be surprised when you're trying to get extreme leverage on something like a extended passenger van, like a Dodge or a Mercedes Sprinter van, or the Dodge versions or something, or a like a Suburban where the roof line is incredibly long. You need that tool, the extra long tool, to be able to stand at the back of the SUV with the lift gate or the rear gate assembly off of it, and you can work through the back area of the vehicle and actually reach all the way up to, you know, the sunroof and forward of it. So it works really, really well as far as being able to position yourself in one position and work so much of the damage out from one area. Now, obviously, you're doing a cross-check, and I don't really want to get into all the details and stuff like that, but it's a go-to system. I know a lot of techs around the country have really chosen the Carbon Tech series rod. I know there's other ones out there that are really, really good as well, but these guys really, in my opinion, kind of paved the way and set the standard because it is just a fantastic tool. Some of the accessories that they've got actually available for it. So obviously, you know, this tool here, you know, just getting and pushing and grabbing onto the bar. Quite frankly, I actually do that quite a bit just because I'm like, I don't want to stick a weight on there or any kind of handle or anything. I really don't care. Probably not the best for my hands, I suppose, actually. But they do make really nice grips here. So this is like a grenade grip, I think is what they call this. So it's a nice aluminum engraved, basically a weight that you put on there. So kind of same thing. Same thing as the tip that I put on there. So push the button in, get it in, lock it in. So then now I've got this nice rounded, you know, kind of ball grenade tip palm that I can work damage out and flip it and da-da-da-da-da. And it works really, really well. One of the other handles they make actually though, it's a T handle. So if you've got to do same thing, button, push the button in, locks in. Really nice thing about this is that not only can I use, so I can use both hands if I'm leveraging off of something, but I can also do a twisting motion where I can grab this and twist it. So if I'm working on, like, let's say a box side where I can get this tool into, and then I can't physically get it and push, I have to twist, do a side load version of it, or pushing with it. That's obviously a really go-to thing as well. So obviously I would recommend that it comes with the grenade, the standard rod. I think it's, I want to say it in the I think it's 9 foot is how it comes, but anyway, don't quote me on that. It's something like 9 or 7 foot or something like that. But it actually comes with a grenade handle, so you're already good. It's set up, good to go, whatever, and you can break it down into multiple different sizes. But I would strongly recommend you to purchase the T-handle here as well. And kind of going off the truck bed idea that I just mentioned. So a lot of times when you're working on truck beds, you don't have enough room to get this huge old wide thing in there, because that's why you're side loading it. That's why you're doing that. So what you do is you put on single-sided tips. So as you can see, this one doesn't have, you know, it only has provisions for a tip on one side. So you eliminate all this extra hang off. So what that does, you've got that much shorter. Let's see if I can kind of make that compare. So you've got that much less hanging off the backside, so you can get it in a tighter area. Obviously, I would take this tip off, this extension off here, the metal, and put this down here, and you'd be good to go. But this is specifically for truck bed sides. That's kind of what it's tailored for. And obviously, you can use it on all sorts of other things, but that's kind of where it really, really shines. Another tip that they have is I believe they call this the witch's finger. So it's kind of modeled, in my opinion, after the Ultra Dent Tools pick tools. So this guy, obviously right here, it's not an interchangeable tip. I'm trying to get it to focus, but it's not, whatever. You get the idea. It's quite a bit sharper. Same thing, it's got a button. And now you can work out dents like this. I don't really use it. Now they've got a couple different versions of this. I believe one that's more of like an up and straight up, like a 90 degree, instead of like a, I don't know, whatever this is, like a 30. I don't think it's quite a 40, it's not quite a 45, but they've got one that actually pivots and goes 90 degrees. Works really well, especially when you're trying to get in where like on the back of like a sunroof assembly where it's got the drop down bracket and everything that helps stabilize it, and you need to get a tool up in through so this is the lower bracket, and then up above it would be the hood, the roof, I should say. You can get up in there, and it's got definitely an extended reach to where you can get in areas. Some other things around like truck bed areas where there's like a stake pocket or whatever, like the holes in the top of the bed where they go down in that you can put a ratchet strap or something in. Just kind of another idea as far as getting in some of these tools here in certain areas, as well as they also do make a wheel tail extension. So same thing, you're plugging it into your hail rod and everything, and this allows you to go in and then get in between a brace. So you're actually sandwiching, so roof skin on top, brace on bottom. You could sandwich in an area and then twist. And that's actually going to allow you to work up a dented area. So, and they actually make multiple sizes of this. I think there's a smaller one. At the time, this was the only one they had available when I purchased this, but works really, really well. You know, you know, a lot of people would go, oh, well, I just have whale tails, they're just as long. Well, I have those whale tails as well, which is what this is considered, a whale tail head for pushing. I have those when they're, I think I've got a 5-foot version or something like that. You know, don't get me wrong. Do I need to put this on a 9-10 foot hail rod all the time? No, that's okay with me. But it's definitely, you know, good to have a tool in your arsenal that, you know, can allow you to do different things. You know, working around sunroofs and stuff like that would be definitely a big you know, need for this guy here. So anyways, so that's just kind of a little bit of a touch on as far as hail rods and hail specific style tools. Again, you can get the carbon fiber ones from Carbon Tech PDR, and the metal ones there, a little more cost effective and affordable, but they are substantially heavier. Like I can put this whole hail rod assembly, full length, everything like that, and I'm pretty positive it would still not weigh as much as the Dentcraft setup. So nothing wrong with the Dentcraft setup. It's a little more heavy, it's a little more cost effective though. So I mean, it's just kind of your balance on what are you looking at doing. And obviously I have both sets of them, so I would encourage everybody to have both. So anyways, if you got any questions or anything like that for me, or you have hail damage in your own vehicle, or questions about any of the tools I talked about, feel free to go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text message at 605-250-1023. You can also visit our website at SiouxFallsDentRepair.com. As always, you know, you can leave a comment down below in the video. Got any questions there? I'll answer them in the next video, maybe, perhaps. So anyways, appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the video. We'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.